Welcome back. The next company on our radar right now is MPS Limited. Earlier, it was known as Macmillan Publishing, but now the company does so much more than just publishing content. The company is also into B2B learning. They've got platform solutions, which powers research for so many corporates. Now, recently, just over the weekend, the company went ahead and made an acquisition. They've acquired AJE, which is American Journal, American Journal Online. Experts, sorry, AJE stands for American Journal Experts, and they've also acquired their Chinese subsidiary. The total consideration for this particular acquisition is not much, about $8.4 million in terms of a purchase price, but it does open up many new vistas for the company. It marks their entry into the B2C marketplace. It opens up China as a, in terms of a global presence. It will also help the company expand its AI capabilities. So to talk more about this, we have Rahul Arora, the Chairman and CEO of MPS. Rahul, thank you very much for joining in. This is Reema here. So first, very quickly, tell us about AJE, American Journal Experts.
Again, thanks Reema for having us on the show. So AJE has a fascinating story. It was founded by an Indian American whose father struggled to get published as an academic. He then took on the personal challenge to try and democratize research. Over the years, they helped thousands of researchers to eliminate the language barrier that his father faced and get their work published in some of the world's top journals. AJE basically acts more than just a content solutions partner for an author. So they hold the researcher's hand through the publishing process, right from preparing the manuscript to submitting it and through the peer review process as well. And over the years, while technology has been core to AJE, in the past couple of years, they've been significantly able to leverage AI to automate and reduce operating costs, and also launch a new product called Curie, which is an AI-powered writing assistant specifically for the academic market.
So, Rahul, it sounds quite promising, but also just want to understand what it can mean in terms of numbers and how quickly. Because if we look at MPS's track record last couple of quarters, growth has been very flat. Actually, top line has not moved much. The quarterly run rate has been in the ballpark of about 130 or so. So what's the game plan here? I think the size of this company is about $33 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. So how quickly does this start contributing to the top line? And I mean, at the EPS level, is it EPS accretive? What happens to margins? Just some more specifics, please.
Sure. So, we think of this as a very serendipitous moment. Back in 2012, we acquired MPS from Macmillan. At that point in time, MPS was 120 crores in revenue, loss-making. And over the next decade, we scaled MPS to north of 500 crores in revenue at about 30% EBITDA margin. Very interestingly, 12 years later, we are here again. We've acquired a company from the same seller. So a large part of Macmillan is now part of Springer Nature. And they sold this business to us. Again, the starting point here is 250 crores of revenue. And we're expecting similar outcomes like we created with MPS. So it's almost like a homecoming. With the same customer, we're trying to do something fairly similar. In terms of scale, like I said, we expect the business to start contributing from the first day itself. So, currently the revenues are in the 200 to 250 crore range, operating at a gross margin of 65%. EBITDA margins are more modest in the early teens, and our goal will be through the course of 2024 to elevate those early teen EBITDA margins to similar to MPS margins, close to 30%.
Why is it that their margins are on the lower side in mid-teens for AJE, and what steps can you take to bring it up to 30% plus margins, which MPS enjoys?
Yeah, I think a large part of where the workflows is placed. Also, in a large company setup, you run an organization in a certain way. MPS was very similar when we acquired MPS. We have 120 crores in revenue, loss-making even, and we were able to elevate that very quickly. So I think from our perspective, once we take over the business, now that we've taken over the business, our goal will be to take a variety of steps. Of course, we'll disclose them as we start to unfold them. which gives us great confidence that in the next year we'll be in the 30s as I described.
Okay, that's going to be your focus. What's your global presence right now, Rahul? Because you've said the acquisition will help expand into China and diversify and strengthen your global presence. So what is your global presence in terms of, say, the contribution to your overall revenues?
So before this acquisition, North America was, around 55% of our overall revenue. Europe was our second largest market, and the balance 10% really came from rest of the world. Last year, we entered Australia and New Zealand through, the acquisition of Liberate Learning. So that was again, a step forward in our diversification agenda. And then, now a large part of AJE's revenue actually is through China. So we expect China, once on a consolidated basis, to be somewhere between 15 to 20% of our revenue on a go-forward basis.
Okay, so more sort of a global footprint. Rahul, finally, when do you consolidate this? As in, when do you get all the approvals? Does it show up in the numbers in the first quarter of FY25? And also just leave us with an outlook. I mean, how are you likely to close off this year, 24? And then now with this in the fold, I'm guessing 25 is already looking better on a top-line basis.
Correct. So the company is ours already. So we'll start to report the numbers from AJE in March itself of this financial year. You have the numbers. I already shared the numbers on AJE on an annualized basis. 250 crores in revenue, starting in the early teens in EBITDA margin from March onward, and then ending the year in the 30s. That's what we expect. Overall, I think there are lots of levers that we plan to unlock through this acquisition. Firstly, there's a cross-pollination of AI capabilities. There's a lot of capabilities that we acquire and inherit from AJE that we will use within MPS. Similarly, we've made lots of advances in AI in the last 12 to 18 months, which AJE will benefit from. Having this new vector of the B2C market gives us a strong renewed focus within the content and platform solutions business of our business. And then also now we are working now closer to someone who's more upstream in the value chain, which is the author, which also brings us closer to the funder, which is the most important kind of stakeholder in the value chain. And finally, our partnership with Springer Nature gets elevated. Springer Nature is one of our most largest customers, and we expect this to also add to organic growth with to our partnership with Springer Nature as well.
Rahul, we leave the conversation here for now. Thank you for joining in and wish you all the very best. Get into a break. On the other side, we'll put the spotlight on e-commerce companies. Sachin Dixit of JM Financial Institution Securities will join in next.